It is 26th of May 1618. Ferdinand II prays in his personal quarters. It's been just a few hours since he discovered that Protestant nobles rebelled against his rule in Bohemia. He prays not only for strength in the upcoming fight, but also for help, and God listens to him. Next morning, he woke up to a sound of a loud roar. When he approached his window, he saw a dragon flying over Schönbrunn. He immediately went to the gardens, where he watched the dragon with others, but after a while it landed on a hill located there. All too scared, Ferdinand decided to come closer to the dragon. When he climbed the hill, the dragon leaned towards Ferdinand so he could mount it. It was amazing to fly, but he immediately remembered the rebellion in Prague and his prayers last evening, and he understood that this is the help that came from God himself. So he aimed the dragon towards Prague. He recognized the city from far away thanks to its castle, where he was coronated a few years ago. When he flew over the city, he felt connection towards his dragon, and ordered him to burn the city. After almost an hour of destruction, only ash remained. Ferdinand then returned back to Vienna and landed on the same hill. The next day, he returned to the dragon with a name for him, but when he climbed the hill, he saw that Fafnir created a nest, and inside it laid 3 eggs. Or at least, that's how the legend on how Habsburgs obtained the dragon's sounds. Since then, it is history. Protestant League was destroyed after 2 years of war, which makes sense. It is difficult to attack your enemy when every time you assemble an army, it is immediately destroyed. Soon, all the eggs hatched. The 3 new dragons were named Jormungandr, Leviathan, and Grunwurm. Ferdinand decided that the best course of action is to give these dragons to his children and his relatives. In the 1680s, the new dragons were ready to be used in combat. Their riders were Leopold I, who was a grandson of Ferdinand II, and he rode Fafnir; Joseph I, who was son of Leopold, and he rode Grunwurm; Charles VI, who was the second son of Leopold, and he rode Jormungandr; and Maria Elizabeth, who was a daughter of Leopold I, and the first woman rider of a dragon, and she rode Leviathan. The other states were meanwhile thinking on what is even happening. The French once assembled an army and marched into Germany, only to be annihilated. But when the situation became less cloudy and they knew what was happening, they began to think if Habsburgs are really chosen by God or if they should continue to fight. Louis XIV decided that they will continue to fight. This war was no longer about religion, but about stopping Habsburg hegemony. He supported the rebels in Germany, which was fully under Habsburg control, and contacted Sweden, Poland, and even the Ottomans to come to his aid. They listened. His idea was that they will attack on all fronts, so Habsburgs will be unable to defend on all fronts. He also ordered machines to be constructed so they could kill the dragons. Although his actions are noble, they are slowly bankrupting France. The war began in 1709. It was 4th year of Joseph's rule, and Fafnir was without rider. You have to understand that these 4 dragons were the most precious things that the Habsburgs ever had, and during this time there were big disagreements on who will ride Fafnir, the biggest and most powerful dragon at this time. This made the Habsburgs weaker, so when forces of Poland, Sweden, France and the Ottomans crossed secretly the borders of the empire, it was a mess. The news got to Vienna after 2 weeks since the invasion. and when Joseph heard the news, he was furious. He saddled Grunwirm immediately and flew to France, without consulting anyone. Maria and Charles could only guess where he flew, so Maria went south to face the Ottomans, and Charles went north to face the Poles. You might think that this was lucky, but you are far from truth. When Joseph discovered the French army, they were ready. He flew straight down to burn them to the ash, but they shot from their weapon. It hit Grunwirm's head, and he uncontrollably fell to the ground, together with his emperor. They both were dead on the place. After several days, Maria and Charles reunited in Vienna. The Ottoman and Polish armies were destroyed, but Charles was unable to destroy Swedish army, because they used dispersed tactics. After several days, they probably guessed what happened to Joseph, and that the situation with France is bad. Because no one could mount Fafnir at the time, Charles became new emperor, and he immediately mobilized the entire military force. After a month, Habsburg spies discovered French camp near Frankfurt. Habsburg army marched towards them and camped several kilometers from them. The night before the battle, Charles decided that he will take Jormungandr and try to destroy few of French machines. He was successful, but when he heard massive arrows fly around him, he returned back. Thanks to this action, the battle at Frankfurt resulted in Habsburg victory. During the battle, Louis XIV's heir was killed, and Charles decided to finish the job, and he flew to Versailles. Maria meanwhile stayed with the army, which slowly began marching north to finish the Swedes as well. At the end of the day, Paris lay in ruins, and the Bourbon dynasty was out of existence. When Swedes heard the news, they swiftly made peace with the empire. In year 1710, Charles was crowned new emperor. During his reign, two significant events occurred. First is his campaign into the Ottoman Empire, where he pushed the Turks completely out of Europe and captured Constantinople. And second is marriage of his daughter Maria Theresia with Francis I of Lorraine, who became king of France after the Civil War. Uniting those two realms, he died in year 1740. In the year 1750, there were three dragon riders: Maria Theresia, who rode Fafnir, her son Joseph II, who rode Jormungandr, and her second son, Leopold II, who rode Leviathan. These three were campaigning every summer. It was a nice family bonding time. Maria Theresia incorporated during her reign Spain, Poland, entire Italy, Denmark, and Britain into the empire. Britain was recatholicized. Stuarts also accepted Catholic faith again, so they could stay in power in England. In 1761, Leviathan laid 2 eggs. This event was celebrated all over the court, because it meant that Habsburgs can keep their hegemony, because as we have seen, dragons can be lost, and because Fafnir was at the time getting older, and his age could be seen on him. During this time, Francis I, husband of Maria Theresia, cared about the economy of the empire, and he understood the potential that the colonies held. The colonies in America were independent because of capture of Spain and Britain. He tried to convince Maria Theresia to allocate at least 1 dragon to America, but he was unsuccessful, because he died in 1765. In year 1775, new dragons hatched. They were named Bohemot and Infernus. In 1780, Maria Theresia died, and Joseph II became new emperor. He was really interested in his father's plan of conquering the colonies. He appointed his young nephew Ferdinand as governor of Americas and sent him together with his dragon to the continent. Let me speak for a while about Ferdinand and his life in America. When he arrived there in 1784, together with his regent and teacher, who put him on a path of enlightenment, he unified the continent around the year 1800 and intelligently divided the regions into provinces based on population. There was massive growth of economy and the colonization continued. He died in year 1856. His long and stable rule is what secured this region of world for the empire. But if we return back to the empire, Joseph II died in year 1790 and his brother Leopold, father of Ferdinand, became emperor. His rule was short, although it was similar to the rule of his son in America. Francis II, son of Leopold, was crowned in year 1792 and he continued to be a good ruler. He has seen the good things that were happening in America and decided to imitate it. So he placed his relatives all around the world. His brother Ferdinand was in America. Together with Bohemond, Francis himself remained in Europe with his now really old dragon Fafnir, together with his son Ferdinand, who rode Jormungandr. His other brother Karl ruled over Middle East, together with his dragon Leviathan, and he helped Francis and Ferdinand to rule over Africa. And his other brother Joseph ruled over the East, where he looked for Christianization of the region, together with Inverness. And that is how Habsburg hegemony of the world was established. After this, the technology became so advanced that the communication between the continents was almost instant. As of dragons, we still don't know how they come to our world. Maybe God really listened and decided that he will help his fate, or maybe something more sinister is behind them.